Oh, get ready for this one. We're going to talk about, does Gen Z want to work from home? By the end of this video, you're going to be ready to make decisions about work from home and return to office that make it possible for you to get great results from your Gen Z team members. We're going to talk about if they actually do want to work from home or not, and the reasons why they do or they don't. And I'll give you some vital insights on how Generation Z thinks about return to office and how to best navigate it. Okay, let's just answer the question in the way that it's asked. Does Gen Z want to work from home? Well, some do, some don't, right? They are not one thing. No group of people is just one thing, and Gen Z, when it comes to working from home, fits that description. So the first thing that's helpful for us to do is realize that you're not just talking to one group and one set of desires. Context is king when it comes to this. So you want to consider the different factors that impact your workforce. I know some Gen Zers that want desperately to work in the office. They love it. They're asking for it. They got remote-only jobs during COVID, and then their offices didn't reopen, and they're bummed about it. I also know the reverse. I know so many Gen Zers who just are so worried about giving up ways of working at home that were really great for their mental health. They have varying levels of social anxiety, various reasons why they much strongly prefer to work from home. So you got to remember you're dealing with a variety of desires, and that whole spectrum probably exists within your Gen Z workforce. Now let's talk about the reasons. Let's talk about reasons why some Gen Zers don't want to work from home. These are the people that want to work in the office. First of all, being around people is great, and especially post-COVID, which heavily impacted Gen Zers, whether they were in school or newly joined the workforce when COVID shutdown happened. But a lot of that brought a lot of isolation, a lot of separation from people, a lot of separation from relationships they cared about, and there was a lot of lost opportunity with building those mid-20s, early 20s relationships in the workplace that often become a huge part of the rest of your life. And so I know a lot of Gen Zers that want to work in an office so they can be around people. Also, there's a lot of loneliness and a lot of boredom that can come from working from home. Me personally, I work from home every day. I work for myself. I'm a full-time keynote speaker, an author, and thought leader. So I experience this every day. Sometimes it's just really isolating. Sometimes I'll go full days without seeing anybody other than my dog and my husband. And so I can totally understand how working in the office can be an antidote to some of the loneliness and the boredom that comes for Gen Zers from only working from home. The other really valuable component of working from home that a lot of Gen Zers have come to recognize is that you're around other colleagues that have been doing it longer than you have. There's so much learning and career development and visibility that drives that development that's available when you work around your peers, your superiors, and your leaders. Now, let's talk about reasons why many Gen Zers do want to work from home and why it's so important to them. Again, we got to talk about COVID, right? Gen Z largely came of age during COVID, during the lead up, the shutdown, and then the aftermath, which still exists to some extent. It's going to take the world a long time to process through all of the impacts of COVID and the shutdown. So as they came of age during COVID, they experienced the world as a pretty unsafe place. Now, Gen Zers are already heavily fixated on feeling a sense of safety anyway. And if you want more details on that, you can check out my video on how to manage Gen Zers in the workplace. But essentially, they care a lot about their safety. COVID hit right at the heart of that, making them feel unsafe and making them feel like being at home is a better choice than being in an office. The next thing, it's not so easy to talk about, but it is a reality we have to discuss. Gen Zers grew up in an age of public shootings, school shootings, and workplace shootings. So there is absolutely fears among Gen Z about public spaces being a place of lethal physical violence. For those of us who may not easily relate to that fear, think about this. When Gen Zers were school-aged, when they were growing up knowing that school could be a place of real harm, the message a lot of them received was, you have to go to school because your parents have to go to work. That message made an impact on how they feel about working in an office. On this same topic of why they want to work from home, the message that's often given of why you should work in an office is because it's better for your career. It'll allow you to be more dedicated. And if you're more dedicated, the payoff will be higher. But to a Gen Zer who has been in the workforce anywhere from 0 to 7 years max, that value proposition of dedication to employment, it's not proven. First of all, they haven't been in the workforce long enough to experience it for themselves. The other thing is they watch their parents, who are largely Gen Xers and elder millennials, be deeply dedicated to their careers and their employers and not receive meaningful payoff for it. So when you say to a Gen Zer, work in the office because it's going to pay off for your career, many of them don't believe it. Also, here's a big one, and it's not easy for us leaders from older generations to accept, but the fact is that Gen Zers know that the assertion that coming back to the office to work is superior for business results is not supported by data. As of yet, there is no large sample, thoroughly vetted data from a reputable source that shows a strong causation between in-office presence and superior business results. And Gen Z knows it. And so, when a leader says, come back to the office because we do our best work together, because we believe that we're stronger together, Gen Z knows that's just vibes. That's not data. There's not a clear business case to support it. And so what it becomes is not a collaboration, but a battle of wills. It's a senior leader saying, I dare you to defy me because I've got your paycheck. And then Gen Z are saying, I know that you don't have a leg to stand on, right? And that's never going to produce great results. Also, some really important things to consider from Generation Z's relationship with employment that's going to impact this. Many of them take an approach to work that it's just not worth it because they believe that they don't know how much longer they're going to live. Many Gen Zers I talk to believe that climate change will make the earth uninhabitable before their natural life reaches its end. Now, regardless of what any one of us believes about climate change, this is something that is definitely impacting the decisions that Gen Zers are making on whether to comply with requirements to work in the office or their desire to work from home. Now, the reason why an older leader might expect a demand to work in the office to be complied with by a Gen Zer is because I've got your paycheck. And I can't imagine that you want to live without your paycheck. For Gen Z, their relationship with income is being very comfortable getting their total income from a fragmented set of sources. So when you say to a Gen Zer, do what I say because I've got your paycheck, they're highly likely to respond by saying, that's okay, I know I have to have a paycheck, I don't have to get it from you. And I don't have to get it from just one source. Now, if they're going to get their total income from a fragmented set of sources, that would require a lot of movement and a lot of logistical effort for them. It's easy for us in older generations to think, that's too hard. They're not going to do that. But you got to remember, Gen Z is deeply digitally fluent. They are very comfortable in the digital environment. And the digital environment is where most businesses are started, made successful, and closed in today's world. So Gen Z is native to the most efficient environment for building businesses that bring them a source of income from a fragmented set of sources. We don't want to overplay our hand as older leaders by assuming that they can't manage the logistics of getting income from multiple sources. Also, Gen Zers function by reciprocity. So I've heard so many of them tell me things like, if you're coming at me and you're giving me resistance, I'm going to give you resistance. If you're giving me 2% of your best, I'm going to give you 2% of my best. I'm going to give you what you give me. That's how they function. And so if you want the best out of Gen Zers, give them your best and make sure that best is aligned with what matters most to them in their relationship with employment. I'm so glad we got to have this conversation. But if you're sitting here thinking, yeah, that's good, but I still have Gen Zers that are saying no to me, and I want to know what to do about that, click on the link in the description of this video. It's going to take you to my video on why Gen Z is saying no to management. It's full of all types of insights about why, and also tips on what to do about it. I think you'll find it remarkably helpful.